longer. So let's do the Simon one
Let's
first.
talk a little bit about purpose. One of the things, I think one of the mistakes that people make is they think purpose comes from their job, right? And we see this in military and non-military, which is I've been a whatever for so many years, and when then I lose my job or I retire, I now don't have a sense of purpose because I so closely associated my self-worth with the job that I did. And you said that happened even in the military, where I knew what my job was, I had a sense of purpose. And one wonders if those things are conflated, right? Mm-hmm. Which is I had a sense of purpose for my job, but then when I didn't have the job, when I left the military, all of a sudden I didn't know what, I woke up in the morning, didn't know what to do. You had a sense of service because of the community, and now you've found a sense of service because you're literally in service to that community again. But it's not the job, it's the sense of service.
I don't even consider this a job or a career. I consider this my passion. Right. I'm like, I will keep on doing this. You don't keep your money. I love doing this. And it's funny, my previous jobs, I would get in trouble like, hey, you're taking too much time off. I was like, I don't care. I need to do these. I need to hang out with these guys. I need to take care of them. I need to do what I need to do. And I love it. And this is it for me. I'm fortunate and lucky enough to find my purpose in life.
And this is what I want to stress to any vet who's listening to this or watching this, which is the purpose is not your MOS.
Right.
Your purpose is not you're a saw gunner. Your purpose is not the job that you wake up to do every day. Your purpose is something bigger.
I actually do want to show the other video with Robert Greene, so we'll go through that as well.
It can be very confusing and very overwhelming. When you find that
the reason why this purpose thing has come up to me, let me kind of give a little bit of context with it. I sit back and I wonder, what are people's purpose? Is it important for people to have a purpose? I just spoke to one of my bros, and his girlfriend, she's a therapist, and they were talking about how, she speaks to certain people that are, let's say 50, 60, 70, 80, and a lot of them don't even talk about purpose. A lot of them focus on just enjoying their last days, or whatever, their last phase of life. And it's like that purpose thing has been completely removed. So for me, I sit back and I'm always wondering, I'm like, okay, well, what's the perfect age to live in your purpose? If you spend your 20s trying to figure things out, your 30s figuring it out, and then you find your job, towards the end of your 30s, you find your career path. In your 40s and 50s, you're just working, you're trying to become the best at what you're doing. At what point do you focus on the legacy, the impact that you want to make on this world? Because by the time you retire, then you're in a mindset to where, oh man, I'm just tired of work, and I'm tired of doing certain things. I'm tired of having to go to work. I'm tired of having to, and life has beat you up so much to where you don't even have the energy to feel that, to even focus on a purpose. Now it's just about, I just want to enjoy the rest of my days here. So I'm wondering, at what age do we focus on us living in our purpose? Is it important to live in our purpose? When we go and they're speaking about us, and hopefully it's not the pastor, hopefully get your family to speak about you instead of these random pastors that have never met you or whatever. Neither here nor there. When people are saying good things about you or speaking on how you impacted their life, do you want it to just be with work? Like, what are the things that we want to leave this world like? And is that a responsibility that we should take on? I guess that's the question. Like, what's the purpose? Like, I truly believe that everybody should have this inherent purpose that they are just born with. And it's a certain programming, and the programming consists of, I'm going to leave. It is my job. It is my responsibility, my duty. I am obligated to leave this place, this world, this society, this family, this community in a better place than the one that I inherited, than the one that I lived in. Like that should be my entire, like, I just thought that that's what everybody should accept, should adapt, should embrace. Just leaving the world in it. What areas did you improve upon? What areas did you help with it? And it doesn't have to necessarily be on a global scale, but maybe it, when you do it within your family, your immediate family, then you extend out to the community. Those things can compound into impacting the global community. We talk about energy all the time. We can shift a lot of things just based on what we're doing. What does Queez always say? Be the change. Any change that we want to see in the world, to become the change. But what change do we want to see in the world? And at what point, or is there a point that we decide that, hey, this is a part of my purpose? I see a change that I want to see in the world. I want to make this change. I want this to be a part of my purpose. I want this to be a part of my legacy. When I transition, whenever that is, I want people to understand that I was committed to this particular cause and improving the world in this particular area. Is that not important to us? Maybe it's not. Maybe the goal is to just look, man, I'm only here for a short time. I just want to enjoy it as much as I can. And that's my purpose, just to enjoy life. I don't know. But it's just something that I think about all the time.
Sense of purpose, when you find what I call your life's task, everything has a direction. Everything has a purpose. Your energy is concentrated. It's not like you're just going down a single narrow pathway. It's not like life becomes boring and it's just about discipline and solving problems. It's actually the most exciting thing that can ever happen to you, because you never have that lost feeling. You wake up in the morning and you go, yeah, this is what I need to accomplish. People come at you with all kinds of distractions and boring and irritating things. You're able to cut it out. It's just the most marvelous piece of internal radar that you can have. So I genuinely wish that everybody can find that kind of internal radar. And so it's not easy, and I understand that. There's no like instant formula, because we're all about instant.
And I want to stop because Queez said something very good. It's hard to focus on purpose when we're forced to chase a check. Very tough. And very tough. And that's almost the question that I had, Queez. It's like, okay, if we're supposed to just chase the check, if we're supposed to just chase a check in our 30s, 40s, 50s, and until we retire in our 60s, then we're missing the prime years where we have the energy, the testosterone, the physical fitness, the mental, all these different things, the excitement, the obsession, we're actually in our prime years to bring change to the world. In our prime years to commit to our purpose, we're actually pushing to the side in order to chase a check and live check to check in most situations. Should the mindset be different, or is that just, it is what it is? Hey, if you want to live in America, you want to live in these big cities or outside of these big cities, that's just the life that you want to live. That's just the life that you're going to be forced to live. Should people consider their purpose more into that equation? Because maybe if you consider the purpose as part of that equation, where I should live, where I should work, what type of lifestyle I should be living, all these different things, when you include the purpose, maybe that will help guide the decisions along a different path than what we have been accustomed to with just the rat race of chasing the check. I don't know.
Instant formulas. It's difficult, and I want you to know that. So it's not like Robert can give me the answer in 3 minutes. No, I can't. But there's a process involved. It's not, a mystery. You can't follow a very singular process. And the idea is, you're talking about childhood. The way I like to frame it is, when you were born, you are a phenomenon. You are unique. Your DNA has never occurred in the history of the universe, going back billions of years. It will never occur in the future. Your life experiences with your parents and everything that you experience in your early years going on up is unique. It's yours. You're one of a kind, right? So that is your source of power. To waste that is just the worst thing you can do in your life. And
did y'all just hear what he just said? I don't know if it hit y'all the way that it hit me. your uniqueness. We are all born 100%, like we are completely unique. There's never been our same DNA. We are unique people, never been the same DNA with the same experience. All these things that make us who we are and our uniqueness. And going back to a topic that we always discuss, DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. This is true diversity, equity, and inclusion. Understanding our uniqueness, because why do we celebrate DEI for what it should be? It's just like on a football team. You need different people to perform different tasks that are different body sizes, different mentalities, all these different things. We need different people to perform different duties. So therefore, each person may have a unique quality that makes them uniquely fit and gifted to perform well in a particular area. So if we are all unique creatures, then why would we not think that we should use our uniqueness to address certain problems, certain challenges, certain things that we need to overcome as a society, because only we can do it the way that we can do it because we are unique beings. I hope that makes sense.
What the power is finding that uniqueness, what makes you you, and how you can mine that, and how you can go deep into it and use that to create a career path, right? And so I tell people, when you're a child, when you're 4 or 5 or even younger, you have what the great psychologist Maslow called impulse voices. They're little voices in your head that say, I love this, I hate that. I like this food, I don't like when mommy moves this way. I like when daddy comes from here. You're very cued into who you are and what you like and what you don't like. And these voices kind of direct you in certain ways, right? And when you're very young, they direct you towards intellectual, mental pursuits as well. And there's a book I recommend for everybody. It's Howard Gardner's 5 Frames of Mind. It's helped me immensely. The idea is, he talks about 5 forms of intelligence. Our problem is we think of intelligence as mostly intellectual, but there are many forms of intelligence. There's the intelligence that has to do with words. There's abstract intelligence that has to do with patterns and mathematics. There's kinetic intelligence that has to do with the body. There's social intelligence. He has 5 of them. And the idea is your brain naturally veers towards one of them. You can veer towards 2 of them, that happens, but generally one of them kind of dominates, right? And it's like a grain in your brain that's going in a certain direction. You want to go with that grain, and because that's where your power will lie. So when you're young, if you go back and think about when you were 4 or 5, you can maybe get a picture of some kind of direction or voice inside of you that was impelling you towards this. I know for me, it was words. I can remember when I was 6 years old, I was just obsessed with words, just the letters in words.
I can't tell y'all how much I'm enjoying the chat right now. I'm trying to make sure that I can get through the video. So that's the only reason why I'm not, saying all the chats, but living miracles. We are definitely living miracles. The fact that, and we actually played a video, I think, from Uncle Pappy that was talking a little bit about this, but not only are we living miracles to just be here, but think about it. We are here at the exact same time. Like, we get to experience life together. Danny is in Denmark. Like, I get to have a conversation with Danny, who I just met from Denmark. Lucille, I always forget what country you're in. Oh my God, I always forget how to pronounce it. So therefore I forget how to, my apologies. But people from literally all over the world just having a conversation about how do we become a better society? How do we grow and elevate as human beings? That's what we're here talking about. We could have, some people will call it random. Some people will say, like, this is how it was supposed to go. Others just say, like, our energy just brought us together. We're here. So this is like, and there's a lot of shout out to Reckless Byron. There's a lot of guide aware, like, everybody's coming from a different place. Alana, look what Alana just wrote. I want to highlight this. Our environments have created us to be so out of touch about living in alignment with our purpose that people don't even know the answer. We don't know that answer. What is our purpose? What do you want to be? What do you even want to be your purpose? We learn in school, they ask us, what do you want to be when you grow older? Why ask somebody what they want to be? What purpose do you want to have? What impact do you want to leave on the world? What do you want to be? We're always so focused, even from a young age, when we're in pre-K and kindergarten, asking, what do we want to be? It's almost shifting our mindset to think about, oh, I have to become this job. Now we're placing our entire uniqueness, our entire value on what job am I going to get? Because that's when the teacher asks us that question, that's what we're thinking. What do you want to be when you grow up? Well, that's not really asking you what you're going to be. Your purpose to me is more about what you're going to be. But because we've been so accustomed to hear that question and to answer in a way where we're thinking, well, what job do I want to have? Because what do we say? Oh, I want to become a doctor. I want to become a police officer. I want to become an astronaut. No, that's your job. What purpose do you want to have? What legacy do you want to leave behind? What do you want to be known for? What is the impact that you're going to leave on this planet? It's just a different way of looking at it. And then Alana finished off saying, we think feeling uncomfortable is normal now, and it's not. That's an interesting thing to look at, Alana. Definitely interesting. All right, so let's keep going a little bit with the Robert Greene. So
almost like in this almost slightly schizophrenic way. I would spell words backwards. I would take them apart. I would do anagrams. I love palindromes, right? So I had a thing about words and language. It's very primal. Some people, Albert Einstein, when he was 4 years old, his father gave him a birthday gift of a compass. And he was just mesmerized by this compass. The idea that there are invisible forces out there in the cosmos moving this needle. And he's obsessed with the idea of invisible forces. Steve Jobs, when he was like 7 or 8 or maybe younger in Burlingame, California, his father, they passed by a store with technological devices in the window. And he was just hypnotized by the design of those devices and the glass tubes and everything. So he wanted to go in that direction. Tiger Woods saw his father hitting golf balls in the garage, and he was just like screaming with joy. He had to do that, right? I could give you a million different examples of this. Of course, these are people who are famous, obviously. We can go back and find that. It's easier. What happens to you is you're 7, now you're getting older, and you're starting to not hear that voice anymore. You're hearing the voice of your teachers telling you, you're not good at this field. You need to get better at math. You shouldn't be interested in these sports or anything. You should be going this direction. Your parents are starting to tell you this is the career they want for you, or the direction they want you to go in, right? You start hearing that more than your own voice. And as you get older, it gets worse and worse and worse. Then when you're a teenager, it's all about what other people are doing, your peers, what's cool, what's not cool, And that kind of is more, so all of this noise enters your brain and you can't hear that anymore. You don't know who you are. And so you go to college, you kind of maybe choose a major that seems practical, that your parents want you to go into. Maybe you kind of wander around, you're not sure. And then you enter the work world without that inner radar that I'm talking about, and brother, you're lost, right? Where should I go? Well, I need to make money, right? And so you make a choice based on the need to make a lot of money. Not everyone, but some people do that. And I understand that need. We all need to make a living, but that can set you off on a very bad path because you're not connected emotionally. The thing is, when you figure out that primal inclination, that grain that's inside of you, then you have the energy to be disciplined, to go through boring tasks, to learn. You learn at a faster rate because you're emotionally engaged. When you're emotionally engaged in a subject, the brain learns 2x, 3x, 4x as fast as when you're not. I always give the example. In college, I studied foreign languages, which was kind of a passion of mine. For 3 or 4 years, I studied French, and then I went to Paris, and I couldn't speak a word. It was useless because it didn't teach me anything practical, right? I was totally confused. But I was in Paris, and I loved it, and I wanted to live there, right? And I had a girlfriend, and I needed to speak French to her. And I can tell you, in 1 month, I learned more than those 4 years of university because I wanted to, because I was engaged. My emotions were there. It was like I had to survive to learn French. So most of us, we don't have a need really to learn this subject. We're paying half attention. But when you find that thing that really connects to you, you're paying deep attention. Your emotions are engaged. You're learning at a much faster rate. Okay? And so the thing is, how do you find that when you're older? When you're 21, I give people a lot of help, and it's usually not so difficult. We can go through that process. It gets harder when you're 30 and you've been wandering around, but it's not impossible. I didn't really find my exact path until I was 38, 39, to be honest. So there's hope. When you get 40 and you get 50, it gets more and more difficult, right? And it's very sad if you wasted that seed of uniqueness that I'm talking about. And I tell people there are ways of going back, and we go through a process like archaeology. We have to dig and dig and dig and find those bones from your childhood that indicated what you were meant to do.
This is like, and I hate to pause it right there, but this is the same. This is why I guess it's commonly known or commonly thought that when Albert Einstein, somebody asked him, how should you, what should you do if you want to make your kids smart or something like that? It was a question like that. And he said, have them watch Disney movies. This is why those Disney and childhood movies and shows are so important, because they allow us to think outside this box of limitation that as we get older and older, the world kind of puts around us, or that we put around ourselves, or we allow to be put around ourselves. And shout out to Queez. I see my bro Queez giving the shout out. But this is it's very important, and it's just a different perspective. And what he's talking about as far as right now with the ages, everybody has an opportunity right now. There is an opportunity to make an impact, a big impact. It's not about how old you are. It's not about how young you are. It's just us figuring out how to, I guess, come together would be the best approach when it comes to anything. When we're addressing our purpose, coming together with other people that may have similar purposes, or that allow us to work together and to lean into each other's uniqueness in order to fulfill the overall purpose. We all have the ability to. And a lot of times it's just a shift in perspective. And Guy DeWord wrote something very good. We don't know how to get our own food. Think about that. We become so advanced with technology. We know how to drive cars. We know how to do all this stuff. But if electricity or stores shut down, we wouldn't even know how to cook our own food. We wouldn't know what water to drink from. Like, we really don't know any of these things. We aren't having kids. I'm 37, no kids. It's like, that's not normal. That's not normal. We are failing. I'm sorry, hold on. We are failing on like the minimum for survival. We got to get that back on track. Yeah. We approach things, and I think I understand what you're saying. We approach things just like all we think about is survival. Like, we're not thinking about thriving. We're not thinking about purpose. We're not thinking about our godliness. Like, we limit ourselves and we limit our abilities when we live in this survival mode, because it just limits our way of thinking. It puts a box over ourselves. We're just thinking about the next meal, the next this. We're not thinking on a grand scale. We're not dreaming. We're not projecting. All of these things are impacting, what our lives turn into and what the overall world is turning into.
But when you find your life's task, everything opens up. It doesn't mean you figured out, okay, I've got to aim for this particular job when I'm 28. That's not how it works. It gives you a sense of direction. You can try different things. You can experiment. You can have fun when you're in your 20s. You're going to learn skills. But it gives you an overall framework instead of, all of this confusion, this chaos, social media, the internet. I could go here, here, here. You're lost at sea. It gives you a very important sense of direction, a compass. It's not an intellectual thing. It's visceral, it's emotional, it's physical, right? And you feel it in your body. And when you're doing it, it's like it's at your level. It's like you're swimming with the current. You feel it, things are easy, everything clicks together, there's a delight. Not everything is going to be delightful. There's going to be tedium involved. There's going to be moments of boredom. But you're able to withstand the moments of boredom because you feel that deep overall connection.
I hope that video helped y'all. I really hope that video helped y'all.